And we're back with all the bells and whistles on 10/3/25. How we doing, T?
Doing well.
Bright and early.
Even though the oil refinery right down the street from me is ablaze right now and on fire, and the air is awful outside. And, you know,
you're going to get that oily smoke on everything. Ew, I hate that shit, man.
The nice thing is I'm like kind of parallel north from it, sort of thing. So it's just sort of the extra spread. I'm not like everybody east of me is like super fucked. But yeah, crazy. I guess it was like the jet fuel. It makes a lot of jet fuel since LAX is like right next to it. And I think one of the whatever jet fuel thing,
someone dropped a cigarette and
boom.
That was it. So how was it waking up this morning to Paige McConnell dropping an album and having an article pop in GQ?
Yeah, what the heck? I mean, all of them though. Like, look at this. Fishman's really the only one that's been left out lately, right? like Trey's had his moment kind of after the album.
Several articles. Trey, yeah, several articles
everywhere. And then Mike's, his new studio thing just keeps popping up everywhere. Nobody can stop writing about that and taking pictures of it and being there and interviewing him for that. And now you get Paige.
in
GQ.
Right. This is like a continuation of what we've gotten with some other Paige stuff, maybe along the lines of Music for Lobbies that Trey did, whatever he called that, atriums or whatever it was called. I don't know. It's not something you just pop one and like listen to driving down the street in the car. It's more like you put on late night kind of thing. What I'm wondering, let me ask you, let's talk about the album for a second first, then we'll get into a little bit of some of what he said in the article. The album, do you think any of this is showing up deep in the middle of a second set out of a simple that's gone off the rails or something where they play, or is it maybe Paige teases it? Should we be listening for that? You know, is he going to tease these songs?
I would assume that knowing, or not really knowing, but having been a fan and studying for so long, Fish and what they do, I feel like any new music gets Trey jazzed up and is willing to learn something new and try something new and do whatever. So I definitely see no reason why this wouldn't somehow, some way, at some point make its way into a Fish set, into a show.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, I think, if anything, unless Paige doesn't want it to, there's always that too, to be like, no, I'd rather, but Vita Blue stuff gets in there and other things of his get in there. So I feel like I kind of feel like they just have this open, like, bring whatever you want to the table. And if you want us to learn it and play it, we'll do that, type thing. And I feel like I said, Trey is always gunning for something new. So I don't see why he wouldn't be like, hey, do some of your songs, Paige. So yeah.
Right. Something Will Land is what it's called. Now he went up against in another Fish brilliant marketing move. Paige went up against Taylor Swift for dropping at midnight.
Maybe that's why he did it, because he was like, I'll get the side push and I don't know, but yeah, no, it's funny. It is funny.
Right. It's available via Keyed Records. It's got 8 tracks on it. The last thing, I went to Fish's site as of last night, all they had was Maybe We're the Visitors, his last album from 2021, as stuff on there for him. So there, there was nothing. And then this morning we woke up and there's this article from GQ,
article.
Right. A remarkable little record of exquisite ambient themes rendered on piano and synthesizer is how they, sell it there. Apparently it was recorded in the home studio that he has up in Burlington across from his house, like I guess the Barn Junior or something like that. But some of the, I know you have a quote you want to talk about in a minute, but one of the most fascinating things I found is that he convened a quartet earlier in this year in Las Vegas that had O'Teal, his Vita Blue partner, and Adam Zimmern, who played guitar on the reconfigured version of Vita Blue from 2019, with a guy named Santa Davis playing drums. So it's basically Vita Blue. I thought Vita Blue was done when Russell died. I figured that would be it, but it seems like Paige is stepping towards let me see what I can build from the ashes of Vida Blue.
The ashes of Vida Blue. That's funny. Yeah, I haven't. I'm interested to listen to it and see. Paige always does such unique things too. So, you know, like I feel like of all of it, I appreciate his, or I don't know, a lot, maybe more than anyone else's, just because it doesn't get too weird in the sense of the weirdness that I like. Like Mike kind of gets weird in a weird way, if that makes sense, you know. And Trey obviously is just Trey. You never know what direction he's going. Is it like Goes to the Forest? Is it like Trey Band? Is it like old Trey Band? Is it, you know, like you never know where he's coming from with what he's writing, what is inspiring him to write or play next. But Paige, I always feel like just is sort of that like composer. He reminds me kind of like the Phil of the band, so to speak, and where it's a little more heady and a little more thought out, maybe processed, and a little bit more has sort of that classical feel to it, you know, like a student of the like not classic music, but or not classic rock, but like Mozart and Beethoven and like Chopin and like classic music background type stuff, and then mix that with jazz and stuff, and you kind of get my kind of music. Like that's what I like, you know, like that's sort of my offshoot of like what got me into the Dead and Fish anyway, was like being a fan of classical music and then big fan of jazz, huge fan. So I guess I just kind of gravitate more towards what Paige does. And then of course Fishman, but Fishman's like, he's even weirder than Mike sometimes. If you listen to the Aaron Path, sometimes you're like, dude, like I don't even know where your head's at, man.
Closest that I am ever getting to having a Fish instrumental album again, I guess, is Paige doing an ambient album.
Yeah.
What can we do now? What was that quote that you saw about Trey and Setlist?
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting, and it kind of goes along the line of what we always talk about with how they kind of come up with songs and the set lists. And
I was always said it was planned, and you all poo-pooed on me for saying it.
Not planned, but we always know. I mean, we've known forever that he writes basically an outline or has an idea of what he wants to play, and then they kind of go off of that to decide, okay, well, this moment calls for I love you drinking a fat natty, and it's 9:15 for me. It's so funny though, but like, yeah, I mean, we've always known that there's been like, at least recently, especially. I don't think back in the day there was a lot of plan to it, but so yeah, the quote was basically just saying that every show of Fish's this past summer's tour, every show of Fish's summer tour was diligently considered well in advance. Each possible song they might play every night, color-coded to reveal at a glance whether or not the show had the requisite balance. Workhorses like Tweezer or Wolfman's Brother. I like how Wolfman's is like a workhorse like Tweezer. I think I would have put like Yum in there maybe or something. So-called bust-outs of much rarer material. Before a tour even starts, Anastasio and Fish's management discuss what has and hasn't been played. Fish's management, that's interesting too. What has and hasn't been played.
He doesn't look at social media, so they're the ones monitoring social media, and they're like, "Those idiots at Wook Plus want you to do, you know, sing."
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, is that where, you know, like the Scott Marks you know, like kind of post something or gets in their ear and says, "Oh, you know what? It'd be great if they played this because they haven't played it."
The snowflakes in the sand.
That's exactly. I was trying to think of the song. Thank you. I was trying to think of the song, and that was exactly the one. Like, yes. But anyway, he was saying Fish's management discussed what has and hasn't been played, what fans online might want to hear, or what's grown stale. These night-by-night spreadsheets are only a starting point, and Anastasio wakes up before each show and again considers the evening's plans.
So that's how you ended up with the Tweezer reprise show. He's like, all right, we saw this shirt. It's the last night of tour. Let's
have some fun with it. Right. You know, and I think that's even, you know, what planned, where it's like after they saw that, they started brainstorming it and came up with, what if we did the last show as a reprise show and just kept going? You know what I mean? Like you can see the wheels turning on something like that and doing that. So I do like, though, that we know, because we always joke, right? Like with everything. Like we've made a point. I made a point of all summer wanting good times, bad times, throwing it out there as much as possible. You've posted things and videos of songs they haven't played, and then 2 nights later they play one of those songs or something, you know. So I feel like they're very, very aware of fans and the online presence of things. So I think it's really cool.
Why? Second paragraph. Do we have to mention the Grateful Dead? They're so far from the Grateful Dead at this point.
Well, look at what it says. Scroll back up, because it's not just it's in context though. It's like in Seth McConnell's band of the last 40 years. Fish, one time inheritors of that splintering.
Right, but did you need to put that AI infested line in there with those AI dashes?
Well, I think because they're trying to show that now they're not like that. And now like it's changed so much in 40 years. Because yeah, I mean, 40 years ago, they were kind of that, especially after Gary died, it became that, like, you know, we talked about it. Where did we go? What did we do? Where were we like, oh shit, who's out there? And, you know, the splintering factors, some went to smaller bands like String Cheese and like, you know, Government Mule and things, and others went to Fish and Dave Matthews and things like that. So, you know.
This is a great line too.
What?
That's a great line. We have so many songs in Fish that if I was to try to write a song and bring it to the band and expect it to be played more than 3 times a year, that would be a huge expectation.
3 times a year.
Interesting. He says he's not complaining too. The next line, he says he's not complaining. So,
but it's funny that he's like 3 times a year. So you know that like you're getting maybe twice. Your song maybe is getting thrown in there, a new song, until they like really get it figured out and want, you know, decide if it's a hit or not, you know, then it, but it's funny to see. And even an ever tighter pants. And Paige is the comfortably professional presence.
Right. He's got kids younger than me. He says he's got kids 25. Anyway, we wanted to I wanted to show off our new technology that we can share the screens there, but I kind of blew it in the beginning. So anyway, we're going to get on with the rest of the show, but we're cutting this for YouTube. So thank you for watching. Make sure you comment. If you're only seeing this first clip, head over to Volume to watch the rest of it, and let's dive into some of this other stuff.
Ooh, other stuff.
Yeah, so we had our friend David Grisman, Sam Grisman, and our friend Matt. They had a show out with Wavy Gravy in the, what is that called, Winter Rainbow. It was the 50th incarnation of this, and it ended up being at the Presidio Theater, Presidio. Oh, right, the movie with Mark Harmon.
Exactly.
That had some Grateful Dead nods in it.
That's right. The girl at the desk behind at the water place that they went to had her Dead shirt on.
Boy, talk about nerds. But anyway, Peter Rowan, David Nelson, Derek Truck, Susan Tedeschi, Steve Earle, Sam Grisman Project, Steve Earle opened. David Nelson came out, did Diamond Joe with Sam Grisman. Peter Rowan came out, did Panama Red. The Mississippi Moon was Peter Rowan and Derek Trucks. And then Trucks and Tedeschi came out and did Midnight in Harlem and their pairing of Angela Montgomery and Sugar Ree. Wow. Wow. I don't know if we can hear it. I didn't see if we could hear it or not. There's probably some video.
There's video. Yeah, I was going to say in the Jambase article about it that we can link below if you want to. There's the Mississippi Moon is on there. There's also Midnight in Harlem is they got a video of it. So I'm sure there's some up on YouTube. You could probably watch more of it. But yeah, I mean, it's so fun. Like,
David Nelson, man, such a treasure. And Peter Rowan. I mean, those guys. Dude, they just released an Old and in the Way from 73. That was 52 years ago, and they're still out there. I mean, Peter Rowan is out there playing the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass with Sam Grisman this weekend in San Francisco. David Nelson doesn't get out as much as he used to.
Yeah, and it's funny that they went from the Ohani Festival out here, you know, we were talking about the other day, jamming with Eddie Vedder, and now I'm talking about Derek and Susan. And then drop down there. It's cool. Like these shows that they've kind of been playing on the side or whatever you want to call it, but that's really cool. Like this
when
one's
their bands
really,
off the road, yeah, definitely.
yeah.
I love that it's this melting point, this cross generational pollination
Yes.
of
Yes.
we're giving the future to Sam and his band and Derek. I mean, Derek's a middle-aged statesman now. If you think about it,
right? No, he fully is. Like
17, he had his own band. You know?
I was gonna say, I was watching a little history thing on him, and it's so crazy to see him so young as like the prodigy playing with the big boys, and now to see the progression as he got older and more mature and grew, and now to see him as like the older statesman, not quite the elder statesman, just the older statesman now out there. So yeah, it's funny. I agree.
Another note on Derek Trucks, he was playing one of those Resophonic guitars too for the for the first song he was out with there. So fantastic, love it. I've seen some pictures. Actually, you know who posted some video of it was our main man Matt Bush.
Yep.
So, all right, the Who is done. Where are they?
Or are they?
They did their last concert at the arena in Thousand Palms, California. It was the same set list they've been doing here and there. My thing, what I took away from it was they came and stood out at the end of the stage, and basically Townsend's remarks hinted at the future, more collaborations. They said, that they, hold on a second. Let me find this. Well, we got time. We can do this.
The song is over.
The song is over, yes. But he said charity work and some other stuff.
He said, and I said to what we know as the Who. So
right. It's no touring.
Right. And it's the name, right? Like you'll still get like you might even get a Daltrey Townsend performance at some point. You know what I mean? But they'll never go under the Who.
Well, they have that Roger Daltrey charity thing. Remember we talked about a few months back, and that's when Zach Starkey got fired, was over that because he was playing too loud. That's when the Who will show up again.
Right.
And do something like that, a one-off thing, and do like 6 songs.
Right.
Because I mean, Pete Townsend has had tinnitus and ear problems since the 80s.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, they've been touring for 57 years of North America. I mean, I'm not even 57 years old. I'm 52 or 51. Right. I would say 52. I'm 51. I'm
over 60.
I mean, that's a long time to be touring. Like, it's a long time to be living, but like 50 years,
it's so funny.
Started in your 20s too, so you're not even starting at age 0. You're starting in your 20s. So like that's a long. You're in your 70s now. Almost 80.
Right.
Like
we had a short about Garcia talking to Pete Townsend in '74 before their show at the Oakland Stadium, where they were double billed, and Pete was like, "We've played the same set list for 4 years," and Garcia's like, "What the fuck, dude? What are you talking about?"
It's like how is that?
They played the same set list their whole career with just adding a couple new songs, like for the It's Hard tour, they added Athena and all that.
Right, and let me ask you, Kevin. I mean, they have a pretty vast catalog, right? Like, I mean, there's a lot.
3 or 4 nights and do,
especially when you look at like the rock opera side of things and like all like what they could even go through with that and stuff. So it's interesting to me that bands like that continue to do. It's almost like the pop punk set list type thing, right? Like where you go to see your like a Weezer show or like a Green Day show or something like that, and you're getting kind of the same songs every night, maybe in a different order, maybe change up 1 or 2 out of the set list here and there, but you're getting that same set list, and it panders to the fans, right? Because you want to hear the hits that you want to hear, and each city obviously is new fans. But for a band like the Who that's been around that long doing that, it's interesting to me that
deep cuts are bangers in their catalog. You know what? Steely Dan for a while was doing, we're going to play the Royal Scam one night, we're going to play All of Aja one night, and then the second set's going to be some of the hits. The Who could do that. We're going to do Who's Next tonight.
I was going to say, I feel like too, as you get older, that becomes a thing. Like bands start doing, it'd be fun is let's tour and play this one album as a set, and then the second set is greatest hits, or vice
Judas
versa.
Priest
Or
just did that. They did the album with Turbo Lover, their tour this year. And I mean, Rob Halford looks so good. My God, that's another fifth band that's been around 50 some years. My God.
Totally. I think about, I'm going to bring the Weezer up again, but I think about 10, 15 years ago, Weezer did a tour with the Blue Album and Pinkerton in back-to-back nights. They played the Blue Album one night and a greatest hit set, and then Pinkerton the next night and a greatest hit set. And I went and saw those shows, and it's phenomenal. It's so fun to see an album in its entirety, because it's just
cool
like,
because you switch. The greatest hits night will have some of the songs from the album night.
Right. And it's just fun because you're like, you know, because there's always songs on there that never get played, right? Like get played like once or haven't been played in 20 years or whatever. So you get to hear those for maybe the first time ever, or like for the first time for you hearing it. And then you always, of course, get the greatest hits, and they're excited to play like the album all the way through. And you're like, this is so fun to actually get to see one of my favorite albums. Right.
They're engaged, and you get everything you could possibly want out of it.
Yeah.
Everything.
And so a band like The Who, I'm surprised they don't do that, because also, Kev, they're like masters of the 2 to 3 minute song too. Like, there's not a lot of jamming in a Who song, right? I mean,
right. And they've done the Tommy and Quadrophenia tours. That's true. Right. But they put out a bunch of just regular albums. The Who sells out. They could do like a throwback 60s.
Who's next? Right. You could do Who's Next, and like, you know, and bang through it, even though a lot of the songs that they play are off some of those more popular albums and shit. But it's still, you could still get away with the marketing and making more money of doing a tour of just the album and everything, you know? So. Yeah.
Spotify continues to try and clean up their act, and Daniel Ek is stepping down in 2026 as CEO. He's still going to be part of the board or some nonsense.
2 decades.
Right. So Gustav Soderstrom is the product and technology officer. And Alex Nostrom will become co-CEOs. So they're trying to clean up their act. They're never going to be able to be legitimate because, like I've always said, they don't sell music. They sell subscriptions, and they could give a crap. They can say all they want about cleaning up.
They're valued at $150 billion for, like you said, just providing a service.
And artists can't even get a ham sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing. It says it's serving 700 million users worldwide, and they have 3% of the world's population subscribing to Spotify. So like it's almost like Ticketmaster bragging about like, oh, but we're the #1 ticket sellers in the world and blah, blah, blah. Right. You're like, yeah, but what do you give back? What are you giving back to the fans? What are you giving back to the artists? What are you bragging about? This doesn't make you look good.
Exactly.
If anything, it makes you look worse. So yeah.
Right. Good time to throw out that we dropped Andy Logan last night. We finally got that interview done, almost 2 hours. I know it's a sprawling thing. Give it a listen to it in multiple parts. Fantastic. We diverge off of just the Jerry guitar stuff and get into the dead and popular culture and their continued legacy and history as a living thing. Was a big part of what we got into. So you're going to want to,
I mean, it's fascinating. Not just the interview, but hearing his sort of philosophy on life and sort of his
such a great way to look at things. Such a great way to look at things.
It's not just about the sharing of the guitar and everything. It's about the music education and what they do for schools and making sure like that creativity is still around, especially with everything that we're going through right now in the world and in this country. Like, it's so refreshing to have somebody like that who is not gatekeeping and is not guarding his possessions and his prizes and things like that, but is more like, there's still life in this instrument. I want it played. I want it out there. And people can
want to see Susan Tedeschi playing Alligator.
Right. And people can complain and be like, oh, that's not the original Alligator, or this is that and that. But like he talks about in the interview, none of the Dead's equipment and none of the Dead's instruments are original.
With static.
They tinkered the shit out of that stuff to make it their own and make the sounds that they wanted. So I have no problem with what he like redoing doing things to it. It's still the same energy is inside it. The soul of that piece is still there. So like,
and it is. Somebody was talking about cleaning out their house the other day and they were throwing stuff away. And, I found something, some ribbons I won in gymnastics when I was in elementary school or something. And my first thought is I would never throw them away because there's an energy inherent in the object itself.
Completely. And that's the biggest thing I think that people that make fun of collectors and things like that don't get is like, I get it's yes, but there's an energy inside of that thing, and that energy connects with you and your energy, and it's part of you in that way. So it's hard to part with some things sometimes, and that's part of the reason why. So, but it's a fascinating interview. He's fantastic. We even managed to throw there's a little picture of me in there holding alligator, and there's a little bit of Dave playing it from the Ivy Room show when he talks about Tabor's Choice using it. So fascinating interview. The great guy. We're going to definitely have him on more, probably on a live eventually.
Yeah, we'll get him on a live. That was one of the most fun interviews. I walked out of that so juiced. I was like, we could have gone another hour.
Easily. You know? I mean, him and Brian Anderson, two of the best dead conversations we've had, and we could talk to those guys. I mean, I'd love to just sit at a bar with them and have drinks and sit there for like 5 hours and just shoot the shit and get more buzzed and talk about wonderful dead stuff. So check out the interview, guys. It's really good. I mean, we're not just saying that. It's good.
On the other side of that coin, within the next couple weeks, we're going to have Tommy Dorfman interview out. He is fighting Live Nation, and when is that? The 17th?
October 17th, New Jersey Federal Courthouse. Go down and support him, please. Pay attention to it in the news. Shoot him an email. Wish him luck. Go help him. Watch our interview when that drops and get fired up. And I mean, as if there's not enough shit in the world right now and this country to get fired up about. This is just another thing. And it's
music, that's our escape. We need our escape to.
Exactly.
So I think these idiots are out chopping down the trees out back or something.
You're okay. I can't hear it. You're good.
Oh, good. All right. And so yeah, look for that soon. It'll be out before the 17th, probably the weekend before, because we're trying to get some press working up for him there. And
also don't forget, Kev, we're now less than a month away from your big interview that's coming up.
Yes, Mike Ayers is going to be on the 22nd on Live. He's going to come on with us. So
and Kev's got a big thing. If you're in Baltimore and you're going to the Billy Ween shows, go check out Kev's interview. What is it, Kev, at the 8x10?
Yes, at the 8x10 from 3 to 5 before the November 1st show. And hopefully tomorrow I might get some streaming in from a festival. Maybe Neighbor, maybe Dogs in a Pile.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get it hooked up. We've been trying. There's a lot coming though, but it's coming. It's coming.
Right. Yep. Right. So one of the most fruitful collaborations in all of jam band history has been Moe and Humphreys McGee. They did, the summer camp was the two of them working that, Humphreys jumped on, Moe kind of started it. And, but they are Moe's playing the Vic Theater October 17th, and afterwards they're doing a MMW show, which is
Joel.
Yeah, Brendan and Joel from Humphreys, and Al, Rob, and Vinny from Moe. And I'm really excited for this. Starting midnight, they did Super Jam at the Days Between earlier this year. So, and it was very interesting because you got the Moe and you got the Humphreys song plus a few choice covers. So.
Yep.
That's where tickets go on sale at like an hour ago. They went on sale Central Time, 10 a.m. So
there you go.
That's great. I love Crosspollination. Again, this goes back to the Winter Rainbow thing. And there we are. Kitchen Dwellers are going to go on tour. We won't get into that much. They added a bunch of dates. I like the Kitchen Dwellers. They're like in the subset of Jamgrass. For me, they're right below where Billy is.
What I love about this tour, though, is it's very fun in the fact that they're calling it a ski tour and they're playing the mountains. It's basically, it says they're going to hit the slopes, but in tongue in cheek, they're going to play in January, starting in January 2026. The ski tour kicks off and they're playing mountain to mountain run, linking ski towns and major hubs across the Rockies. So from like Telluride to their home in Bozeman, Montana, they're going to like play all these mountain towns, which is awesome. Like January might not be the best. Like I'd like to see this in the summer, right? When it's like beautiful out. And like we always thought, like when we saw Dogs play at the base of Utah, at the base of the chairlift down there, I think that's really cool. Like I saw Bunny Whaler and Aspen one time on the mountain and it was fantastic. It's just such a fun show being on, because again, the energy, right? Like in the mountains and the energy. The winter's a little harder because it's, the winter and travel's a little bit more pain in the ass.
Person, you know who's big on skiing is Humphreys. They have skis. You can go buy skis on their website.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a great tour though. This is so fun.
Yeah.
Like I love when like we talked about the cross-pollination, but I also love themed things.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the themed stuff. So this is
Right,
cool.
we should have run the tour and festival update thing since we
We
haven't
should
done
have.
one of them in a week or two. All right, Okeechobee 2026, March 19th through the 22nd in Sunshine Grove, Florida. Multiple year hiatus. Last one was in 2023. So the Lumineers, Fisher, Grizz, T-Pain, headliners, and then you got like Big Gigantic, Goth Babe, LP, Giobe, Young the Giant, Disco Biscuits, and Tractor Beam playing. So Grizz is going to do Closing the Golden Hour set in addition to his regular set. Looks interesting. I'm glad that the reason I brought this to the table for you today, T, is that it had been one hiatus for a few years and they got it back together, which is a good sign for when we look at some of these festivals and they say we're taking a year or two off and we're like, we're never seeing them again.
Yep. Agree. And I hate seeing that stuff because we're like, oh, you're taking a hiatus. You got to like gather your, like, because we know how hard it is to do it anyway, but like to take a break, it's very hard to come back from that. So yes, this is great. Anything like that is good news in our ears.
It is. Absolutely loving that. All right. So, we talked about John Mayer the other day. Let's get into some Sphere stuff since we mentioned the Sphere the other day for Fish. Pencil in. It was a pencil in. It wasn't an ink it in. Call if you can get a refundable hotel room and set yourself up, but do not go all in and pay the $1,000 that you can't get back. But Zach Brown Band is extending their residency at the Sphere. So 2 extra dates to the run, which is 8 shows total. Interesting. I like the idea of let's do 6 shows. If they all sell out, we'll add 2. Kind of like the Garth Brooks model. You play a city, you add as many shows until one doesn't sell out.
Yep. I love that. I think did the Eagles added a couple more shows too?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I think I think the Sphere's gonna make it. I know we've joked about all of that, but
it's
I
honestly $14 bottles of water that are gonna put them over the top.
But I feel like it's one of those things, like we said, like everything that goes on in there, even you can bitch and moan about the Wizard of Oz stuff, but it's been a huge hit. You can bitch and moan about like Backstreet Boys or whoever playing there, but it's been a huge hit. Everything that seems to go there from the DJs, which I think would be a lot of fun to go see a DJ show there at some point. But like the New Year's thing got extended like last year. That thing ended up from like 3 or 4 nights to like being like almost a week. So I think once these bands get there and audiences come, there is a audience for them to keep coming. So I think it's a cool thing. I think adding shows is great.
Right, you're getting the same set every night. Zach said that he's using everything the Sphere has to offer in order to tell a story of my life, journey through my imagination, music, and stories, which should be fun. It would be great if he told some stories in between. The songs, I wrote this because this girl broke my heart in 10th grade and then it reappeared 50 years, 20 years later, it all made sense or something.
Totally. I think it's great. I mean, I love hearing that too. Like the story behind just like just like what we just talked about with, that
VH1 show, Storytellers, was so great. That was so cool.
But what's great is the like we just talked about, like the theme tour, right? Like having a little bit extra inside of like something or like the show. So I love hearing that he's like, okay, first of all, I'm going to use everything at my disposal at this incredible venue. Second of all, I'm going to use it to like tell this story of my music and my life and that kind of. So big fan. I love that. That just tells me too that he's taking it very seriously.
Well, he also, another interesting thing that he said about this is that he's going into debt to do this. Well, which makes me wonder about, like, remember all the poo-poo about Beyonce wanted $100,000 a day in order to do the rehearsals? Maybe that's what he's saying. He's going to have to pay for everything and have that place up and running and at least run through the set a couple days in order to knock out all the bugs.
Right, completely. And I think that's where, and then, you know, just like we talked about with about the Ticketmaster stuff, you know, it's hard because a lot of the you know, the bands don't know what's being charged or whatever, but they need to recoup some money because it does cost to have rehearsals and to ship your stuff around. And even if you're just playing in one place like the Sphere, so you understand when he's like, oh, well, adding shows is a good thing for him because you're getting more revenue coming in, which you need. So
he probably needs to add 2 more and do 10 shows in order to turn a profit, not just break even.
And it's one of those instances too, Kevin, like we like to say, is like you got to spend money to make money, right? So like you got to go a little bit down to get back up. So hopefully that's what's going to happen here with him. And it's not one of those things where like, oh man, playing the Sphere broke me. You know, but yeah,
exactly. So we're going to keep our eye on the Sphere. That puts shows through January in the Sphere. He's playing 2 weekends in January, I think the middle 2 weekends. So we got to keep our eye on that, because if all of a sudden someone announces something in April, we know we're done, that we were making that shit up about Fish playing.
About that other band playing there.
I've heard enough from enough different sources, though, that I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable with the Deer Creek call for next summer as being a thing, and I feel comfortable with Hulaween coming back in Denver. I think that they're at the point now where they're trying to make a break with a lot of the old stuff. Dix is gone. Maybe we don't do Hulaween in Vegas anymore.
I'm a little more skeptical of the Denver Vegas, or the Denver taking over for Vegas for Halloween, and even the Boulder 4th of July nonsense coming back for 3 years or whatever. I don't know. That I'm a little more skeptical of. The Sphere shows I am not. The Sphere shows I feel like are pretty much, unless that becomes the Halloween thing and those two things get combined. Other than that, I'm pretty confident with the April talk, because even our good friend Benji sort of nodded to that he was hearing the same sort of thing. And when you're starting to get it from those kind of people and the insider people who have more knowledge than even us do with our contacts, it starts to make a lot more sense, and it starts coming into play a little bit more. And I mean, maybe Paige's album would be fun there, right? Some of those songs inside of there are doing some of that. So it'll be, I think that's, yeah. But we'll see how next year shakes out. It's going to be very interesting because, Kev, that will set up the future, right? Like if there is for sure no more Dicks, we'll know this year. If there is no more Halloween Vegas, and we'll know for
sure. We're going to know in 26. 26 will answer the questions. We got news out of the Modeski Martin and Wood camp, and I love me some Modeski Martin and Wood. It has to be one of the greatest bands in the jam band scene in the 90s, because they weren't a jam band. They didn't want to be a jam band.
Don't call it a jam band.
Right. Don't call it a jam band. So there's this thing coming up that Billy Martin is promoting called Jer's Garage. Set 1, the Tredici, Tredici. Somebody shoot me. The Tredici Baki band plays Zappa Maricone. It's all these words that I have trouble with.
As well as the Dead.
Right. So they're going to do Zappa the first set. And then the second set is going to be Grateful Dead songs played with pieces from the Zappa band and guest sit-ins. Schofield's going to be there. They're going to do a Go-Go, which is a rearrangement, and it's specifically done for this. And this is the 5th year. The more important thing, though, spilling the beans. MMW just finished mixing and mastering a new record deriving from the Not Jazz documentary film sessions recorded 7 years ago. Now, we know they have Jam Cruise coming up. They're putting the new album out. Are we getting a MMW tour in 2026?
Maybe. Right? Maybe.
They have to.
Maybe.
They could play the theater.
It certainly seems like it.
Right. They could do the 2,000, 3,000 seat deal theaters. They wouldn't have to be playing clubs.
Yeah.
Festivals, a few festivals, you'd be the 3rd or 2nd from the top. I mean, you'd be right up there. Maybe even some festivals, jazz festivals, they might have you as the top thing. So I'm very excited for this. Very excited. So
Yeah.
It's 7 years old, which is interesting. But if they're in there working with it now, who's to say they didn't do some overdubs or it didn't open up some other musical avenues for them that maybe in 27 we get another new album kind of thing. They actually get back into it after it's been 20 years really since they were around a lot.
Yeah.
Has it been that long? It has to be. Yeah, that's crazy. So
crazy.
There we go.
Hopefully,
that's what we're doing. Right.
Yeah.
We're going to close off with.
Did you see Goose last night covered Ween's Chocolate Town?
I did, and my feed crapped out on me.
Oh yeah,
right during All I Need or whatever the song before was. So I totally missed it.
It's funny. The Relics article about it has a nice picture of them of Peter and Rick on stage. But it's funny because it's a great shot, and like you can like it's obviously been adjusted and whatever. But even in this shot, the lights with the fog through them, you're like, this is a professional photo, right? This is a professionally shot photograph, so of course it's going to look good. This is just goes to my point though that y'all with your phones taking photos and videos of Goose shows, they look like shit because of the way the lights are and how blown out the fog with the lights and how bright it is and everything. Your videos and your photos look like shit. So stop posting them. I know you're excited about it. They look terrible. That's just my
question is, Chocolate Town is about a very specific place in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Why did they do it in Richmond, Virginia? Are they going? I wonder if they're going up north and they're going up the Hershey highway, so to speak.
Maybe it is an odd time to debut that or to break that out, like just for the hell of it. But I love that they did it. Like, good for them. I like that they've expanded that.
Dude, the voice coder, man. Can we?
I know.
I just like seeing them. I just can't do it. That's my thing. I can listen to them when they're just playing.
Right. Oh no, I told you that Dave Matthews. That'll be my go-to forever. The opening of the Dave Matthews show at the Gorge this year is the highlight of my Goose love and hate.
And you've actually seen them in person before, didn't you? See them at the Troubadour?
I did see them at the Troubadour. Yes, I did, and I was miserable. But yeah, I do appreciate. I've told you, I appreciate a lot of things about them. The music is not one of those things. It's like a C-level music thing for me. I can't get into it, but I appreciate them doing the covers. I love that they do so many covers, and it's so much fun, and I love that kind of thing. So good for them. I'm glad they broke out some Ween. That's awesome. So very cool. I just wanted to bring that up before we left because I thought that was funny, and that picture just made me think like this is exactly what I'm talking about. Their lights, they're great when you're there, but they just don't translate to check out how cool.
Get rid of the fog machine. Get rid of trying to have that because it works as a screen.
Exactly. It is a screen, and I mean, it's great if you want to fuck with people not taking videos and photos at your show. It's fantastic. It's a great
seems like something that is more a tool effect,
right? Like when Fish breaks it out for Steam, it doesn't ruin everything about the lights. And plus, Fish's lights are different than Goose's lights. They got a lot more of like the weird LED bars and the colors are different.
I tell you what, the whole time that Jerry Garcia was alive, I couldn't have told you the light person's name for them. It boggles my mind that it's like this thing, like, even third tier bands, they're like people know their light guy's name, which good for the light guys and good for the sound guys. Totally. I mean, you knew the sound guy because Healy fucked with Weir all the time. So
right. Yeah, right. But that is funny because the Dead was more, when it got dark out, the lights weren't as big of a
they like a big round screen in the summer. Screens. Remember they had the round screen? Right. Do you remember the puppet? Did you ever catch the puppet? No. RFK in 90, they had a 20-foot tall skeleton come out during Touch of Grey and dance around on the back of the stage.
No, I had the video screens at one when they did like and would play like eyes and had the flying eyes and the walking eyes over the world and things like that, and like the screens that for the time was advanced but was very minimal, but still added a lot to that show. So
and I feel like people might shoot me for this, but I always said that the bigger a light show a band has, the worse the band is, because they're trying to cover up for their inadequacies with this huge stage show and the lights and the flames shooting off or whatever.
Right, the pyros and I'll say this, the only thing you need with lights is you need white lights at the peak. That's it. Like, that's all I need. Give me the
my retinas out for a second.
Right. You hit that peak, you go white lights, let me see everybody's arms up in the air going crazy and hit me with that energy, and then we can just go back to like subtle lighting. So yeah, I agree. Yep. And then one last thing I just wanted to bring up was Real Estate, our good friend Alex Bleeker's band. They're on tour right now. They just played in Woodstock on the 1st.
Oh, right, Bearsville, right?
What?
Bearsville Theater?
Yeah. Yep. They have an East Coast 12-stop run. So if you're around and you know where they're playing or whatever, go see them. Support Alex's band. They're a great show. I saw them out here in LA. It's a lot of fun. They're fantastic. So catch them too. That's all I got, Kev.
All right, so we're going to finish out with the Grateful Dead thing. Pantone, the first name and color have added 2 Grateful Dead colors, Grateful Red and Steely Blue. I think they should have switched that. Or, Steely Red. Or they could have called it Stella Blue.
I know. I was surprised. I was right there, and like Scarlet Red or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was right there.
Anyway, so we all know Steal Your Face. The album. We know the White Lightning, man. Anyway, it's a Juicy Ruby Red is Grateful Red, and Steely Blue is Dark and Handsome Cerulean.
So are these like the official colors of?
Yes. Now you can go and pull them and paint your room the exact colors of the Steal Your Face album cover.
So there's no more like, oh, that's not the right red. What do you mean that's not the right? How do you know what red is? Now you can actually say, no, this is the correct red. And
it's cool. It's their visual identity. It really does belong to them. That's great. And then you read a little further down in the fine print, and it says that Pantone is releasing a merch line: t-shirts, hoodies, candles, enamel pins featuring the colors.
Candles. Great. Of course, more merch. I feel like of all the things, I feel like this should have been done a long time ago, because like the official colors, right.
Before Dead 60.
Right. Or before that. I mean, I feel like of all the sellout things we bitch at them about and things, I feel like this should have been done years ago, 20 years ago. Like this should have been done, having the official colors out and things like that. So it's interesting that it took this long to do that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but how many times have the Dead crossed over into the design art world and things that? I mean, they as much as the Wall of Sound influenced concert sound, what they did artistically and graphically has influenced so many people.
Absolutely.
I mean, even going back to Mouse and Kelly and all the artists from back in the day.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess that's going to wrap us up there. We mentioned Mike's studio. We'll talk about that next Wednesday. We'll get into it because I want to pull up some pictures. Maybe we can take a little virtual tour, set up something, and look through the studio.
Yeah.
Because this is a big thing. I mean, apparently, like you said, this is getting all kinds of press. I think this is huge in the architecture world and crossover into the studio engineer space.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And that's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to run an outro, and we will see everybody soon.
Sounds good. See you guys. Have a good weekend.
What's up, dog?
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.